Putnam, Porter, Pike, Anoka, Dallas, Camden, Hickory, Coffee, Cannon, Claiborne, Campbell, Douglas, Hanson, Gregory, Bertie, Beaufort, Bladen, Brunswick, Buncombe, Burka, Barris, Clay, Hardin, Bracken, Logan, Morgan, Osceola, Bristol Bay, Bosque, Brazos, Brewster, Blanco, Bastrop, Bowie, Burleson, Angelina, Atascosa, Nacogdoches, Anderson, Adams, Travis, Adams, Thomas, Reno, Harvey, Wichita, Caddo, Bossier, Union, Webster, Fayette, St. Clair, Nemaha, Alice, Fannin, Burnett, Llano, Guadalupe, and Liberty, Upshur, Titus, Franklin, Morris, Casson, Camp, and Trinity, Thomas, Seminole, Grady, Doherty, Haskell, Hodgman, Finney, Gray, Muhlenberg, McLean, Montgomery, Hart, Green, Taylor, Casey, Clay, Green Lake, Salt Lake, Red Lake, Bear Lake, Lake, and Peninsula, Lake of the Woods, Fond du Lac, and Laco, Palma, Lax, Pulaski, Jackson Woods, Sebastian, Montgomery, Deshay, Independence, Van Buren, Pulaski, and Arkansas, Cherokee, Marion, Poweshiek, Audubon, Clay, Palo Alto, Chickasaw, Washington and 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 Washington, Adams, 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 Washington, Jefferson, Polk, Johnson, Johnson, Washington, Franklin, Carroll, Franklin, Carroll, Franklin, Carroll, Washington, Franklin, Carroll, Adams, Douglas, 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 Washington, Lincoln, 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 Johnson, Washington, Jefferson, Polk, Lincoln, Franklin, Washington, Lincoln, Adams, Lincoln, Johnson, Washington, Baker, Baker, Island, Baker, Wheeler, Wheeler, Washington, Washington, Wayne, Washington, Wayne, Washington, Wayne, Washington, Washington, Lee, Washington, Lee, Washington, Lee, Washington, Washington, Pike, Washington, Pike, Washington, Pike, Washington, Washington, Lee, Adams, Lincoln, Washington, Catoosa, Columbia, Cherokee, Oglethorpe, Atkinson, Blackley, Emmanuel, Cumberland, Buckingham, Halifax, Rockingham, Buttercup, Middlesex, Bath, Campbell, Spotsylvania, Pittsylvania, Transylvania, Accomack, Marshall, Bedford, Fillmore, Coffee, Hancock, Cerro, Gordo, Sac, Cattaraugus, Jefferson, Cuga, Fulton, Madison, Anderson, and Clarendon, McCormick, Berkeley, Addison, Jasper, Berry, Miller, Gentry, Cedar, Douglas, Callaway, Henry, Johnson, Shelby, Macon, Andrew, Mercer, Nottoway, Thomas, Logan, Banner, Wheeler, Arthur, Hooker, Kippaha, Hazen, Glen Grant, Luke, McPherson, Gladwin, Mason, Ogama, Meriwether, Carroll, Jasper, Pickens, Gilmer, Berrien, Tallahatchie, Issaquena, Noxubee, and Marion, Indiana, Juniata, Muscle, Shell, Marker, Nevada, San Jacinto, Tyler, Walker, Jasper, Polk, Colorado, Dickinson, Sioux, Green, Banks, Patrick, Catron, Luna, El Paso, Mesa, Los Animas, Eddie Lee, Slope, Walsh, Pope, Wells, Henry, McLean, Trail, Billings, Subatano, Laramie, Park, Powder River, Macomb, Meade, Mason, Knox, Leslie, Pulaski, Bell, Franklin, Geneva, Dale, Holmes, Lamar, Clay, Randolph, Forsyth, Queen Anne's, Wayne, Glen, Blaine, Bibb, Coffee, Pike, Chambers, Pickens, Escambia, Cherokee, Gary, Perry, Caldwell, St. Mary, Dyer, Iron, Tioga, McKean, Elk, Bradford, Green, Owsley, Breathitt, Lee, Itawamba, Gogebic, Yates, Steuben, Schenectady, Ulster, Dutchess, Lewis, Franklin, Green, Albany, Allendale, Darlington, Barnwell, Kewanee, Washburn, Rusk, Brown, La Crosse, Golden Valley, Iowa, Steele, Cass, Mackenzie, McHenry, Nelson, Barnes, Hettinger, Sheridan, Dunpembina, Marshall, Pennington, Dakota, Oglala, Lakota, Otsego, Oswego, Greenbrier, Clay, Iron, Gallia, Pike, Monroe, Sawana Grande, Ormiguero, Ohio, Barranquita, Henderson, Orocovi, Gamoy, St. John, Morovi, Sumner, Stewart, Blunt, Sevier, Bledsoe, Stevens, Monroe, Muskogee, Wilkinson, Warren, Harrelson, Talbot, and Bartow, Hall, Clark, White, Hart, York, Oconee, Colleton, Greenville, Aiken, Chester, Polk, Screven, Evans, Douglas, DeKalb, Byang, Clark, Washita, Bradley, White, Rockland, Focus, Scambia, Caucus, So, and Garfield, Columbia, Clark, King, Johnson, Park, Traverse, Meeker, Butte, Can, start.
And now, some county equivalents of the U.S., brought to you by Mellohi.
Jefferson, Madison, Sweetgrass and Gallatin, Wapello, Lucas and Wayne, Washita, Custer, Canadian, Sutter, McCurtain and Cimarron, Blaine, Noble, Carroll, Gates, Pasquart, Terrell, Vermilion, Vernon, Sabine, Newton, Neshoba, DeSoto, Panolica, Mitchie, McCulloch and Green, Amelia, Mecklenburg, Nottoway, Lunenburg, Giles, Buchanan and Bland, Hanover, Caroline, King and Queen, Smith, Alpine, Shasta, Kit Carson and Grand, Beaver and Bacchus, Watson, Lavaca, Brown, Callahan, Allison Hunt, Harrison, Muscatine, Appinus, Woodbury, Henderson, Parker and Blunt, Jefferson, Waltham, Clint, Comorillo, La Piedra, Coamo, Monroe, Decatur, Montgomery, Kerr, Erie, and Reaganburg, Net Taylor, Clark and Bureau, Scotts, Bluff and McDonough, Pierce, Madison, Cummings, Cheyenne, Morrill, Brown, Kimball, Howard, Miami, Dade, Orange, Alachua, Citrus, Columbia, Collier, Broward, Zavala, Medina, McMullen, Alpena, Wayne, Roscommon, Dickinson Bay, Flecker, Zapata, Live Oak, Bayo, Baja, Yakko, Penguilla, and Clay, Palo Pinto, San Augustine, Tarrant, Lee, Cherokee, Ronalds, and Dimmitt, Tom Green, Coyle, Montegda, and Leon Gillespie, Prince Edward, Prince William Green, Pike, Harrison, Henry Scott, Owen, LaRue, Russell, Metcalf, and Carter, McCreary, Breckenridge, Jessamine, Henderson, Crittenden, Livingston, Genesee, Erie, Cedar, Gurabaha, Yuyu, Uthwell, Comanche, Greek, and Fisher, Payne, Octobaha, Lauderdale, Kemper, Clock, Carroll, Hill, Laurel, McCracken, and Wayne, Lamar and Clearwater, Wheatland, and Broadwater, Ponce, El Junta, and Lare, Laja and Guanica, Umaca, Corosa, Florida, Sangre, Manxiale, Rio Grande, Canova, Trujillo, Balsado, Bajadora, Bayamon, Yakko, Culebra, Atillo, Guayama, Northeastern Connecticut, Western Connecticut, Naugatuck Valley, Deer Lodge, and Ravelli, and Mocha, Aguado, Rincon. Here goes. East Baton Rouge, Louisiana, Crawford, Orange, Indiana, and then Vinton's the least populous of Ohio, Chalk to Sumter, Alabama, up to Silver Bow, Montana, then there's Denver, Colorado, Custer, Boise, Idaho, Texas has Austin, nowhere near Austin, Cortland in New York, Suffolk, NMA has Boston, District of Columbia, and Florida, Levy, Santa Fe, New Mexico, Sequatchie, Tennessee. Elvis probably never went there, I don't know. Gloucester's in New Jersey, east of Jefferson, Missouri, Richmond City's in Virginia, South Dakota has Gerald, Susquehanna, Pennsylvania, Androscoggins up in Maine, and here is Providence, Rhode Island, Sussex, Delaware, called Belknap, New Hampshire, just Quidron, Lamoille, and Rutland are up in Vermont, Capital, Connecticut, so pretty in the spring, and Kansas has Comanche, Minnesota, Koochaching. I always wondered why Wakko didn't say anything here. Juneau's in Alaska, Gosper, Lincoln in Nebraska, Davie Franklin out in North Carolina, and then Trempealeau, Wisconsin, and Skamania in Washington, Pima, Arizona, Clark, Calhoun, Michigan, Warren, Mississippi, and Woodford, Illinois. Here's Honolulu, Hawaii, oh boy, South Carolina with Saluda down the way, and Arundel, Carroll, Maryland near Chesapeake Bay. That's like Chesapeake, Virginia. Natrona's in Wyoming, and perhaps you make your home in Cache and Weber, Utah, where the buffalo roam. Lamar and Lumpkin, Georgia, Addie Foster, North Dakota, and you can live in Franklin in your old Kentucky home. Klamath and Oregon, from there we join. Little River, Arkansas, Iowa's got Des Moines, Sacramento, California, Oklahoma has Alfalfa, Braxton, West Virginia, and Nevada, Esmeralda. That's only a fraction so far. Worcester, Barnstable, Nantucket, Oklahoma, Dewey, Cole, Grady, Garfield, Grant, and Stevens, Calhoun, Flagler, Seminole, Union, Davis, Lee, and Henry, Leaks, Covington, and Holmes, Cleardorf, Clark, and Winston Park, and Franklin Stone, Johnson, Jefferson, Van Buren, Candy, Ojai, Norman, Clay, Carlton, Aiken, Carver, Crow, and Kitson, Newton, Clinton, Ray, Davies, Worth, DeKalb, New Madrid, Grundy, Caldwell, Green, Gaye, Texas, Webster, Red, McDonald, Cascades, Rome, Scotland, Harrison, Adair, Knox, Benton, Madison, St. Clair, on top of Searcy, Garland, Jefferson, and Scott, Cleburne, Cross, St. Francis, Craighead, Poinsett, Ashley, Drew, and Flathead, Boone, Pove, Newton, Barron, Grayson, Todd, and Knott, Richland, St. Croix, Wood, Oconto, Portage, Crawford, Vernon, Dane, Mercer, Garrett, Lincoln, Boyle, Whitley, Jackson, and McLean, Wickles, Effingham, Bond, Edwards, Franklin, Whiteside, Drain, Shannon, Sullivan, Boone, Oregon, Monroe, Jackson, Randolph, Union, Perry, Christian, Carter, Stone, and Ripley. There's Monroe, Decatur, Franklin, Hendrick, Stark, Clinton, Benton, Newton, Davies, Scott, St. Joseph, Monongalia, Miami, Wabash, Kosciuszko Park, Frio, Colin, Kaufman, Rockwell, Kimball, Concho, and Menard. Jasper, Perry, Forrest, Pontotoc, Lafayette, St. Bernard. Sarasota, Charlotte, Martin, Sumter, St. Lucie, Brevard. Jackson, Lawrence, Union, Florence, Berkeley. La Maria, Aguadilla, Guayanilla, Carolina, Logan, Licking, Union, Tuscarawas, Green. Belmont, Morgan, Noble, Guernsey, Huron, Fayette, Rawson, Jersey, Mercer, Tazewell, Perry, Hardin, San Joaquin. Curry, Colfax, Towson, Cibola, San Juan, San Juan, Cheyenne. Lake Prowers, Morgan, Kiowa, and Yuma, Rappahannock, Appomattox, Brunswick, Sedgwick, Phillips, Logan, and Chelan. Round Macon, Logan, Moultrie, Kankakee. Clark, Shockton, Jackson, Upshur, Webster, Tucker, Boone, Kanawha, Jackson, Morrow, Summit, Paulton, Fulton, Lucin, Leelanau, Texas, McIntosh, Craig, Pittsburgh, Tulsa, Nowata, Kershaw, Knox, Jackson, Dixon, Grundy, Warren, Wilson, Pickett, Bradley, Lawrence, Fentress, Hawkins, Granger, Loudon, Saginaw. Someone's emailed us asking which county shape is most like a square. What a stupid question. There are like 500 counties that are at least vaguely quadrilateral. Have you seen Texas? So let's dedicate this part of the song to a bunch of those. Like Republic, Cloudon, Spivett, Scott, then Uvalde, Sherman, Gray, Ionia, then Misaki Lake, Saline, Box, Butte, and Clay, Alice, Russell, Lincoln, Norton, Logan, Wallace, Graham, Isabella, Sminka, Sutton, Sergeant, Guilford, Rockingham, Greeley, Sherman, Rollins, Stanton, Ford, and Washington as well, Kearney, Sheridan, and Kiowa, Montgomery, Tregelwelk, Cochrane, Hockley, Lubbock, Crosby, Stonewall, Nolan, Johnson, Fisher, Jackson, Eaton, Ingham, Clinton, Berry, Palmer, Potter, Swisher, Cookie, Winton, Moda, Cochise, Swiston, Goshen, Platten, Hale, Warren, Hardy, Pike, DeSoto, Fayette, Graves, and Otter Tail, Person, Caswell, Randolph, Stokes, Montgomery, Delaware, and Grant, Shelby, Boone, Tippecanoe, Green, Stubendy, Calvin, Stant, Indicator, Mercer, Preble, Trumbull, Portage, Crawford, Lynn, Randolph, Flatford, Brown, Rush, Marion, Red Willow, Hamilton, Tipton, Gove, Wayne, Wayne, Dark, Seneca, Vermilion, Champaign, Jasper, Cumberland, Wayne, Stevenson, Knox, Warren, Kendall, Kane.
Williamson?
It counts, it's in.
Hamilton?
Don't push it, man.
McLennan?
Well, I guess we may.
Hoonangoon?
Are you okay?
Are you seriously gonna go through every rectangle?
Yes. Osage, Lyon, Woodson, Anderson, McHenry, Boone, DeKalb, Blaine, McPherson, Barton, Butler, Greenwood, Young, LaSalle, Walworth, Jefferson, Eau Claire, Dunbarron, Marshall, Union Falls, Elkhart, Hamilton, Green, Madison, Rock, Martin, Douglas Hall, Grundy, Iroquois, Macoupin, Jasper, Huntington, Green, Price, Shiawassee, Oakland, Livingston, Grant, Hamilton, S. Rice, Osborne, Wilson, Adair, Cali, Franklin, Bourbon, Cherokee, Allen, Jefferson, Cass, Marion, Neosho, and Saline, Lawrence, Barton, Taney, Ozark, Howell, Vernon, Dade, Manhaska, Midland, Gratiot, Hills, Delano, Waynewago, Branch, Kalkaska, Chautauqua, Morton, Seward, Stevens, Harper, Meade, and Clark, Logan, McIntosh, Lamar, McPherson, Dickey, Ransom, Stark. If your county's made of islands, then a square you'll never be. There are loads of territories that are mostly empty sea. Howland Island, Jarvis Island, Johnson, Atoll, Midway Islands, Community, Bass Island, Palmyra, Atoll, Wake Island, Western, Eastern, Swains Island, Mono Island, Rose Island, Saipan, Rhoda, Northern Island, Stanian, and Guam. Haldani, Hitchcock, Furnace, Harlan, Franklin, Webster, Gage, Knuckles, Thayer, Fillmore, Jefferson, York, Ringgold, Taylor, Page, Patch, Cheyenne, Labette, Miami, Allen, Crawford, Clean, Brooks, Martin, Mitchell, Howard, Andrews, Upton, Shackelford, King, Brooks.
Is Calvin Square?
Well, it's getting there.
Lafayette?
All set.
Freestone?
That can't be shown.
Huerfano?
Where for no? O'Brien, Wright, Buchanan, Emmett, Mitchell, Osceola, Buena Vista, Pocahontas, Wexford, Anascota, Macosta, Montmorency, Crawford, Kent, Kalamazoo, Cass, St. Joseph, Rock, Dodge, Outer, Gamey, Waukesha, Rock, Sioux, Aurora, Sanborn, Minor, Lake, McCook, and Faribault, Moody, Davis, and Fall River, Bennett, Harding, Marshall, Holtz, Beetle, Hamlin, Brookings, Edmonds, Brown, Hutchinson, Divide, Rolette, Towner, Stutzman, Kidder, Bowman, Cavalier, Todd Hyde, Clark, Kingsbury, Waseca, Manny, Haha, Perkins, Day, Cherry, Coddington, Butte, Sheridan, and Dawson, Griggs, and Jay, Becker, Lyon, Lincoln, Stevens, Grant, Josh, Topman, Noman, Polk, Dawson, Boren, Scurry, Ector, Midland, Sterling, Glasgow, Coke, Chase, Celine, Rush, Phillips, Mitchell, Sumner, Marshall, Brown, Washera, Lynn, Lancaster, Joel, Kingman, Ellsworth, Campbell, Niobrara, Lamb, Ottawa, Chase, Stewart, Perkins, Johnson, Pawnee, Kent, Custer, Dual, Valley, Greeley, Sherman, Garfield, Bent.
Wayne and Jones?
Well, I suppose.
Otoe?
The river, though.
Limestone?
There's that little slant.
Van Zant?
Van Cant. Listing every county that's a square is really such a pain, and inevitably barely any have a rhyming name. But I have to match the song, so as I'm sure you've got the gist, here are tons of ones in Iowa in this compacted list. Winnebago, Worth, Howard, Winnebago, Fayette, Floyd, Humboldt, Franklin, Butler, Bremer, Webster, Hardin, Blackhawk, Delaware, Crawford, Carroll, Boone, Story, Marshall, Tama, Benton, Lynn, Jones, Shelby, Guthrie, Dallas, Iowa, Cedar, Adair, Madison, Warren, Keokuk. Nobles, Pepstone, Sealand, Wells, Wadena, Hubbard, Taylor, Freeborn, Swifton, Mower, Wanton, Wanflood, Motley, Murray, Baylor, Oldham, Hartley, Dallam, Dustwith, Hansford, Randall, Roberts, Lynn, and Apache's very, 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 very long and thin. Why Sample, Lipscomb, Montgomery, Tremor, Castro, Carson, Pope, Dickens, Donnelly, Armstrong, Collins, Rutschak, Briscoe, Antelope, Stevens, Haskell, Bailey, Childress, Yoakum, Terry, Garza, Gaines, Archer, Mason, Sutton, Hutchinson, Clark, Throckmorton, and Keith.
That doesn't rhyme.
Okay, well, we ran out of squares, so let's just finish the song with no theme. Grant Summers, Calhoun, Gilmer, Lewis, Mercer, Ritchie, Mingo, Yazoo, Rankin, Calhoun, Yellow, Bush, Russia, Winston, Tishomingo, Baker, Early, Mitchell, Colquitt, Irwin, Coffee Cook, Crawford, Taylor, Huston, Baldwin, Hancock, Wasco, Lincoln, Crook, Bacon, Bullock, Russell, Shelby, Chilton, Elmore, Tallapoosa, Morgan, Colbert, Marshall, Limestone, Coleman, Butler, Tuscaloosa, McDowell, Alexander Wake, Montgomery, Scotland, Butler Lake, Montgomery, Wheeler, Truth, Tatnall, Atoka, Push, Mataha, Haskell, Benango, Bedford, Somerset, Wyoming, Chester, Burst, Malad, Northumberland, Montgomery, Blair, Lycoming, Schuylkill, Delaware, Lawrence, Johnson, Newton, Clayton, Morgan, Yolo, Napa, Butte, Forest, Perry, Armstrong, Lackawanna, Snyder, Wayne, Paiute, Sumter, Wilcox, Dooley, Camden, Chattahoochee, Bryan, Paulding, Appling, Telfair, Charlton, McIntosh, Chattooga, Upson, Spalding, Jeff Davis, Stewart, Lincoln, Bentley, Albert, Jenkins, Bacon, Bidlin, Yerwin, Oconee, Candler, Putnam, Chatham, Macon, Santa Barbara, Orange River, San Marin, San Bernardino, Union, Anson, Durham, Surrey, Yancey, Warren, Coconino, Bedford, Goochland, Surrey, Powhatan, King William, New Kent, Simpson, Duplin, Onslow, Robinson, Lenore, Northampton, Den, Fulton, Hickman, Ballard, Nelson, Oldham, Trimble, Caldwell, Canton, Hugging, Athens, Ashtabula, Petroleum, Missoula, Mojave, Gila, Yuma, Avoyles, Catahoula, Logan, Crawford, Franklin, Benton.
Any more interesting comments come in?
What? No, I made that up at the start. Madison, Pearl River, Yadkin, New Hanover, Merrick, Dawson, Colfax, Richardson, Cedar, Thurston, Dodge, St. John the Baptist, Woodruff, Evangeline, Gilchrist, Hamilton, Glades, Tombs and Glasscock, Garlerkin, Quitman, Madison, Long, Harrison comes along, Fremont, Bonneville, Granville, Song, Sebastian, Worth, Harrisonburg, Covington, Rio, Arribador, Clinton, Monroe, Johnson, Phelps, Juanito, still more. Chugach, Copper River, Skagway, Camden, Warren, Ocean, Cape May, Mercer, Salem, Bergen, Huron, Essex, Sussex, Pikeman, Buren, South Central Connecticut, York, Southeastern Connecticut, White Pine, Story, Wetzel, Tyler, Seneca, Shenango, Schuyler, Tompkins, Warren, Allegheny, Delaware, Gordon, Henry, Richmond, Wilkes, Decatur, Ware, Hawkins, Sully, Potter, Campbell, Pennington, Camas, Twin Falls, Cajabennick, Bingham, Bonner, Lincoln, Ada, Fayette, Fleming, Brock, Grenada, Lake Sonoma, Eldorado, Fresno, Lassen, Banawa, Grant, Modest, San Miguel, Quadonia, Anna Lake, Clay, Perry, Spencer, Gibson, Posey, Switzer, Vincent, Lean, Jefferson, Ohio, Greenup, Lawrence, Kiowa, Sequoia, Potawatomi, Montgomery, Fort Benford, Lamar, Delta, Hidalgo, Starbell, Matagorda, Clayburgh, Hayes, Oasis, Wilson, B, Webb, DeWitt, Kamal Hill, Madison, Riel, Mills, Calhoun, Jackson, Murray, Cherokee, Love, Albemarle, What a Sight, with Orange Bridge, Colonial Heights, Shenandoah, Highland, Floyd, Davis, Lewis, Campbell, Boyd, Montgomery, Salem, Roanoke, Manassas, Charles, City, Hill, Hopewell, Hampton, Matthews, Norfolk, Bristol, Russell, Tazewell, Norton, Loudoun, Fauquier, Arlington, Manassas, Parktown City, Fairfax, Franklin City, Polk, Kearney, Grant, Deschutes, Lane, Pecos, Hudspeth, Russ, Crane, Jackson, Allen, East Feliciana, Beauregard, Wharton, Houston, Cookwood, Erath, Johnson, Grimes, Hood, West Feliciana, Point Capee, St. James, Natchitoches, Clay, St. Clair, Maverick, Orange, Knox, Bear, Franklin, Richland, Morehouse, Lincoln, Madison, LaSalle, Miller, Union, Chico, Mariposa, Mono, Chafee, Picken, Troop, Washakie, Archuleta, Delta, Router, Ray, Nylander, Churchill, Pershing, Alkali, and Clay, La Plata, Eagle, Teller, Rio, Blanco, Jackson, Elbert, Carpin, Lincoln, Teton, Sublet, Kane, Uinta, Garfield, Rich, Duchesne, Osage, Latour, Monroe, Adair, White, Henry, Southeast Fairbanks, Kusilvac, Dillingham, Aranac, Fairbanks, North Star, Anchorage, and Sitka, Bethel, Nome. Edgefield, Greenwood, Abbeville, Kennedy, Somerville, Edgecombe, Richmond, Stanley, Gaston, Craven, Lee, Jerome, Iredell, Catawba, Ash, Sangamon, Clark, Wabash, Clinton, Shelby, Jefferson, Lucas, Lorraine, Davidson, Perquimans, Dare, Macon, Graham, Delaware, Fergus, Phillips, Valley, Lake, Sheridan, Wayne, Richmond, Bronx, New York, Kings, Queens, Livingston, Grant, Orleans, Oxford, Waldo, Somerset, Piscataquis, Knox, Wynn, Humphreys, Perry, Hickman, Smith, Giles, Scott, Sussex, Wythe, Morgan, Berkeley, Jefferson, Wyoming, Hampshire, Lynn, Tillman, Cotton, Murray, Moore, Somerset, Baltimore, Hartford, Cecil, Calvert, Howard, Charles, Wycomico, Blue Earth, Yellow Medicine, Sibley, Scott, Hennepin, Chatham, Harnett, Haywood, Mitchell, Martin, Pamlico, Liberty, Lafayette, Vance, Cherokee, Alamance, Izzard, Lawrence, Randolph, Fulton, Baxter, Jackson, Wayne, Pickens, Lawrence, Spartanburg, Chesterfield, Orangeburg, Beaufort, Richland, Dillon, Horry, Teton, Elmore, Blaine, Cowlitz, Lewis, Kittitas, Ponderay, Clallam, Cass, Schuyler, Hancock, Henderson, Montgomery, Crawford, Lee, Walla Walla, Klickitat, Yakima, Island Flat, Cooper, Crawford, Jackson, Cape Girardeau, San Francisco, Wrangell, Haynes, Denali, Ponderay, Treasure, Tool, Hill, Cascade, Shoto, Custer, Fallon, Roosevelt, Garfield, Wilson, Pitt, Allegheny, Jefferson, Sullivan, Lebanon, Bristol, Plymouth, Grafton, Stratford, Sullivan, Emmett, Millie, Jewett, Emory, Beaver, Grand, Fox, St. Pete, San Benito, Santa Cruz, San Diego, Contra Costa, Monterey, Trinity, Franklin Bay, Stanislaus, Merced, St. Louis, Obispo, Goodyear, Brownlee, Shore, McMahon, Sherburne, Stearns, Morrison, Skagit, Brockton, Ferry, Stevens, Okanagan, Moore, Bayfield, Douglas, Marathon, Dixie, Gulf, Lake St. John's, Weekly, Crockett, Lauderdale, Van Buren, Green, LaFleur, Inyo, Pueblo, Yukon, Cuyahoga, Matanuska, Sioux, Etna, Dearborn, Bighorn, Clark, Rowan, Oak City, Lexington, and Buena Vista, Cabo Rojo, Arecibo, Naranjito, Pasco, Penobscot, Lincoln, Hancock, Merrimack, Hillsborough, Cheshire. There's Hamden, Essex, Middlesex, Dukes, Norfolk, Hampshire, Orleans, Lower Connecticut, River Valley, Grand Isle, Wyndham, Oak, Mulgee, and Lee. St. Saba, Caldwell, Range, Jeff Davis, Shelby, Newton, Harris, Ventura, San Mateo, Santa Clara, and Calaveras. Then Rio Grande, Arapahoe, and Custer, Fremont, Montgomery, Champaign, Fairfield, Putnam, Knox, Claremont, and Middlesex. Allegheny, York, Allegheny, Dinwiddie, Talbot, Frederick, Caroline, Baltimore City, Wilcox, Dallas, Green, Talladega, then Mobile, Spencer, Shelby, Anderson, Bourbon, Floyd, Presqu'île, Walton, Manatee, and Volusia, Gadsden, Leon, Swanee, Lafourche, Tala, and Jefferson, Davis, Smith, Lewis, and Clark, Lake Tillamook, Umatilla, Wallowa, Jackson, Tooele, McNairy, Madison, Haywood, Cheatham, Stark, Union, Yankton, Bonham, Lyman, Travis, Torrance, Tioga, Orleans, Broome, Chemung, Monroe, St. Lawrence. There's Mifflin, Franklin, Potter, Cameron, York, Fajardo, Owyhee Valley, Oneida, Shoshone, McDowell, Pleasance, Putnam, Pendleton, Ohio, Hancock, Monroe, Marquette, Oneida, Shawano, Polk, Racine, Manitowoc, Rice, Wabasha, Itasca, Cook, McLeod, and Big Stone, Winona, Houston, Renville, Roseau, Yellowstone, Vilas, Ashland, Forest, Wapaka, Redwood, Wright, Stanton, Nelson, Dickinson, Galax, Isle of Wight, Rockbridge, Amherst, Charlotte, Pulaski, Santa Cruz, Lynchburg, Richmond, Martinsville, Suffolk, Newport News, Greensville, Warren, Madison, Carroll, Fredericksburg, Northumberland, Terrell, Henrico, Chesterfield, Gloucester, Radford, Oliver, Coweta, Marion, Calhoun, Tift, Randolph, Douglas, LaSalle, Boone, Pulaski, Habersham, Rockdale, Ben Hill, Tolliver, Franklin, Henry, Charlottesville, Grayson, Fulton, Fort Peoria, Mason, McDuffie, Eccles, Butts, Dawson, Miller, Crispin, Brooks, Westmoreland, Waynesboro, Frederick, King George, Prince George, Craig, and Sedgwick. There's Erie, Westmoreland, Fayette, Huntington, Dauphin, Johnson, McGoffin, Grant, and then Cleveland, Calhoun, and Kings. Kent. Warren, then Phelps, Lafayette, Pemiscott, Lewis, Cole, Buchanan, Atchison, Clark, Marion, Osage Holt, Bollinger, Reynolds, Laclede, Sheridan, Somerset, Burlington, Hunterdon, then Cumberland, Carteret, Hancock, Rapids, West Baton Rouge, Jefferson, St. Charles, Calcasieu, Terrebonne, and Tangipahoa, St. Helena, Georgetown too. There's Monroe, DeKalb, Madison, Crenshaw, Houston, Lauderdale, Covington, Connecticut, Palm Beach, Santa Rosa, we unveil, Madison, Hernando, Pinellas, Osceola, Bradford addressed, Petersburg, North Slope, Cabot, Culberson, Aleutians West, Vanward, Henry, Harrison, Legs, Delaware, Monroe, and Erie, Hancock, Richland, Ottawa, Wood, Highlands, Hendry, Okeechobee, Emmett, Montcalm, Baragas, Cool, Oceana, Manistee, there's Grand Traverse, Houghton, Lapeer, Tuscola, Menominee, Winnebago, Calumet, Pierce, Jackson, Sawyer, Marinette, Carroll, Ogle, Henry, DuPage, DeWitt, Richland, Green, Marquette, Herkimer, Mersco, Harry, and then Orange, Essex, Chippewa, Saratoga, Rensselaer, and now Hamilton and Mackinac, Webster, Union, Sharkey, Lamar, Prentice, Quitman, Genesee, there's Ascension, Red River, Wolf, Marions in Tennessee. Pierce, Ramsey, Mercer, Morton, Grant, Emmons, Golden Valley, Ward, Burley, Benson, Richland, 2, Coos, Benton, Union, Sherman, Hood, Rivermore, Clatsop, Allen, McKee, and Dubuque, Winkler, Furia, Rosaria, Marion, and Wilbarger, Red River, Sabine, Principles, Hyder, and then Kodiak, Allen, Alexandria, Culpeper, Meade, Ashland, and Williams, Miami, Defiance, and Sandusky, Columbiana, Holmes, Fox, Elder, Carbon, Morgan, Wasatch, Sevier, and Davis, Grant, Lawrence, Custer, and Jones, Choctaw, Capaya, Simpson, Sunflower, Wilkinson, and Humphreys, Montgomery, Chickasaw, Carlisle, Warren, Allen, Hancock, Monroe, and Harnell, Kona, Santa, Lucky, Winna, Woodford, Powell, Elliott, Martin, Letcher, Clinton, Bullitt, Grant, Malheur, onto Clackamas, Clinton, Randolph counties on a slant, Overton, Madison, Unicorn, Nicholas, there's Prince George's, Dorchester, Buffalo, Chippewa, Berrien, Dickinson, Chittenden, Oneida, Orange, Sullivan, Wyoming, Clark, Duval, Gonzales, Jefferson, Douglas, Morris, Marion, Pawnee, Wyandotte, Olmsted, Beltrami, Wilcombe, Ramsey, St. Louis, Lake, and Falls, Church is only a dot. Owen, Aleutians, Bartholomew, Warren, Vigo, Mineral, Hinsdale, Lance, and Juan, Fayette, Davis, Winnebago, Menard, Calhoun, Will, Gallatin, Scott, and Choctaw. St. Louis City, Pulaski, Morgan, then Howard, St. Charles, and Livingston, Gilpin, Moffett, then we go to Boyd, Hot Springs, and Sheridan, Putnam, Randolph, Stoddard, Tripp, and Beaverhead, and Roosevelt, and Payette Canyon, Gem, Kitsap, Snohomish, Pacific, Jefferson, Creek, Ottawa, Carter, Logan, Mississippi, Mississippi, Sharp, Carroll, and Madison, Cagua, Fuco, Mayagüez, and then Catania, then Arroyo, Luquillo, Maricao, Warren, Jennings, Whitley, Fulton, West Carolina, Assumption, Tammany, Frontier, Cambria, Fulton, Mercer, Lancaster, Crawford, Lawrence, Cumberland County is here, Bristol, Ontario, Chautauqua, Niagara, then Montgomery, Columbia, and Hughes, Tipton, Decatur, Benton, Lake, Carter, Lewis, Inland, Pettis, Schuyler, Prince Edward, and Scott, and then we have Bethia, then Potawatomi, Mecklenburg, Monroe, Lowndes, Clinch, Putnam, Union, Chester, Scott, Fannin, Whitfield, Union, Clay, Cuyahoga, Wyandotte, Hardman, Hardin, Houston, Ray, Burke, and Clay, and Floyd, Jones, Webster, Turner, Peach, Murray, Jackson, Pearson, Sly, Walker, Green, Virginia Beach, Beaver, Bucks, Luzerne, Lehigh, Cobb, and Rabin, Mendocino, Glen, Calusa, Siskiyou, Amador, Tulare, St. Clair, Calhoun, Cleburne, Coosa, Walker, Barber, Henry, Perry, Loving, Warden, Warren, Allglaze, Allen, Brown, Edwards, Terrell, Kinney, Reeves, Madison, Muskingum, Towns, Montauk, St. Genevieve, Rawls and Pike and Putnam, Taylor, Jackson, Dade, Wayne, Northampton, Halifax, Scott, Saline, and Gasconade, Wilkes, Green, Orange, Jackson, Nash, Yakutat, Thurston, Pierce, Spokane, Chowan, Preston, Marshall, Hardy, Barber, Franklin, Jefferson, San Juan, Brentwood, Kayacum, Grays Harbor, Whitman, Benton, Lincoln, Phillips, Prairie Stone, Cameron, Washita, DeSoto, Avery, Madison, and Jones, Clark, Floyd, Harrison, Scioto, Mason, Wood, and Coahoma, Tate, Elkhorn, Iberville, East Carroll, Swain, Tippa, Lawrence, Hines, Claiborne, Lafayette, St. Martin, Wayne, Carbon, Union, Gregg, Alexander then, Nicollet and Pine, Caldwell, Allegheny, Pender, Henderson, Forsyth, there's Louvaina and Augusta, and then Lancaster was sworn, Monmouth House, and then there's Passaic, Dodge, Bullock, Barrow, Franklin, Fayette, Effingham, LaPorte, Carbon, Sanders, Daniels, Webo, Prairie, Mineral, Bighorn, Barber, Stafford, Potawatomi, there's Bandera, Crowley, Kauai, Nassau, Lounswa, Culla, Liberty, Franklin, Lewis, Power Boundary, Garvin, Jefferson, then there's Butler 2, Winchester, Pocosin, Emporia, and Louisa, Carter, Converse, Clear Creek, Camden, Polk, and Sevier. Philadelphia has many views, so do Harper, Plaquemines, and Hughes, Color in Otsego and Chartreuse, Onondagas, home to Syracuse, Rutherford, and then Marion and Brook, Raleigh, Fayette, Logan, Ronan, now let's have a look, Hereford, Lexington, Watauga, Cleveland, Polk, Saginaw, La Paz. There's Bienville, Concordia, St. Landry, Guadalupe, there's Aransas, Lampasas, Marshall, Galveston, Monroe, Lowndes, Montgomery, then Wabaunsee on a highway, Butler, Monroe, Columbia, Acadia, Macomb, Navajo, Montgomery, Marys, Leavenworth, and Atchison, and Donovan, and Bolivar, and Harrison, and Carson City, Mineral, Eureka, and McKinley, and Sierra, and Valencia, Presidio, Monroe, Hidalgo, Platte, Lyon, and the Grundy, and Louisa, and Monona, and Dakota, and Lisgard, and Montecarni, and Montgomery, and DeKalb, and then there's Morgan, and the Williams, and Shelby, and then Hancock, and Kentucky, Benton, how's about that? Berkeley, and Valverde, and Iberia, and Lawrence, and then Etowah, and Jackson, and Nataka, and Marengo, Okaloosa, Marion, and then we're on to Bolton, and then Perry, and St. Francis, Everglades, Kennebec, and Cumberland, and Livingston, and Williams, and then we get to Perry, and Columbia, and Lafayette, and Monroe, and to Marlborough, Charleston, and Currituck, and Nance, then we got Canales, and then Montrose, and Otero, and then Douglas, and I-City, and then Jackson, and then Marshall, then we go to Lawrence, and the Putnam, and then Morgan, and Mahoning, and Geauga, and Bunnell. There's Newberry and Dorchester, then we go to Rowan, and then Clinton, and Chisago, and the Juneau, and Columbia, Kenosha, then there's Grant, who's in the corner, and the Fremont in the corner, and then Roberts County giving us morale. There's Loíza, Guaynabo, Yabucoa, Juana Villa, there's Villalba, and then Santa Isabel, and Marion, then there's Barceloneta, and then Westchester, Atlantic, Doddridge, Indian River, Hillsborough, and Clarion, there's Iosco, and Michigan, and Haddon, we go west to counties, Liberty, Stillwater, Costia, near Anna, Marion, Caledonia, St. Mary's, and Columbus, then El Paso, Navarro, Edwards with Iron, and then Fayette, Boys, Humboldt, Fremont, Gilliam, and Clark, Rowan, Montour, Union, Cass, Burke, Gooding, and Columbia, San Juan, Boone, Nicholas as Class Major, Rogers, Bennington, Medina, Rockingham, Williamsburg, Benzie, Grand Forks, Mineral, Northampton, Jackson, Meigs, there's Turner, Lincoln, and Yuba, Hardin, Jefferson, Davis, and Johnston. Clayton, Clinton, Ida, Plymouth, Fulton, Harris, Walton, Twiggs, Greater Bridgeport, Christian, Shelby, Edgar, Estill, Butler, Trigg, Danville, Essex, Petersburg, Southampton, Stafford, Johnston, Morris, Cumberland, and Cumberland, Pulaski, Massac, Well, Dolores, Shawnee, Riley, Hardin, Union, Washoe, Lincoln, Roger Mills, Tensaw, Claiborne, Marshall, Benton, Macon, Trousdale, Northwest Hills, Yamhill, Curry, Josephine, Multnomah, Layton, Espers, Mason, Smith, Panola, Jim Wells, Jim Hogg, Kendall, Crockett, Cottle, Grayson, Jackson, Stanley, Charles, Mixbrill, Bernalillo, San Miguel, Hardin, Chambers, Coleman, Eastland, Pocahontas, Taylor, Yale, Worcester, Garrick, Clearfield Center, Nassau, Suffolk, Putnam, Hurd, Coos, Carroll, Franklin, Essex, Windsor, Highland, Rutherford, Hopkins, Cameron, Jefferson, Wichita, Waller, Victoria, Rockcastle, Gibraltar, Schoolcraft, Delta, Iron, Florence, Langlade, Newcastle. There's Albany, Sweetwater, Hamilton, Nemaha, Vanderburg, St. Louis, Buffalo, Clearwater, Cottonwood, Ottawa, Allegan, Williamsburg, Maui, Kalowo. Butler, Saunders, Sarpy, Douglas, Manitoga, Kootenay, 2, Roosevelt, Tobacco, Maricopa, Greenlee, Caribou, Summit, Daggett, Alameda, Northwest Arctic, Cleo, Zaki, Montreal, Renville, Berkshire, Newport, Cantor, Rooster, Knox, Milwaukee, Davidson, Robertson, Anderson, Hamilton, Jefferson, Sullivan, Gibson, then Cook Rock Island, Martin, Morgan, Hancock, Howard, Jefferson, Isabela, Vieque, Quebradilla, Ceiba, Maunabo, Agua Buena, San Lorenzo, St. Croix, Manatee, Naguabo, Hot Spring, Hempstead, Howard, Dallas, Lone Oak, Faulkner, Conway, Green, Madison, Marion, Tunica, Crittenden, Harrison, Robertson, Cass on Scene, Graham, Socorro, Summit, Garfield, Boulder, Teton, Glacier, Harmon, Lake Sheboygan, West Sheboygan, Sumter, Fayette, Union, Hardman, Menifee, Edmonton, Gallatin, Pendleton, Marion, Callaway, Hopkins, then Christian, Lyon, Marshall, Union, Webster, Simpson, Robertson. There's Caddo, Muskogee, Okfuskee, and Jackson, and Pontotoc, Seminole, Pickaway, Latimer, Marion, Placer, Tehama, Solano, Tuolumne, Wagner, Mays. Fairfield, Jasper, Hampton, Calhoun, Lancaster, and Cherokee, Ziba, Corson, Buffalo, Walworth, Chippewa, Menominee, Hamilton, Los Alamos, Otero, Bloomington, Sierra, Humboldt, and Imperial, Los Angeles, Del Norte, Madera, Larimer, Gunnison, Montezuma, Lincoln, Alamosa, Brookfield, Small, Jefferson, Sullivan, Knox, Vermilion, Fountain, Jasper, Sandoval, Granite, Powell, Judith, Basin, Birchland, Dawson, Den Big, Alta, Willacy, Goliad, Anderson, Patricio, Fayette, Milam, Carnes, Alta, Beckham, Alice, Cleveland, Woodford, Bryan, Pawnee, Noble, K, Ontonagon, Charlotte, Muskegon, Ketchikan, Gateway, Jackson, Hamilton, Cumberland, Portsmouth, Madison, Cass, St. Thomas, Dunklin, Dixon, Dewey, Pepin, Antrim, Kenai, Peninsula, Yavapai, Mills, Clay, Sauk. Thank you so much for watching. This took me half a year, so like, subscribe, and join the Discord.